bright. I don't know if
Hello.
I don't like that either.
Wow, we're going for different shades right now. Happy Thursday.
What's up, guys? My hair.
Someone said, how many times is Walt gonna cry for attention during the show? I'll have to know that. My dog's being so whiny, so probably Rogue might cry more than Walt today. We'll see.
I love that. Normally it's Blaze that's barking. Walt is currently licking his feet right now. So hopefully he just relaxes for the next hour. What up, Kenneth?
We have some fun stuff to dive into today.
First of all, do you guys notice I have a different background today?
New place.
Well, at least for the next year. So I love it. I'm obsessed. I want to be here and never leave, like to go outside. I love it. T-Bird, I feel like I haven't seen you in a little while on here.
She was here last week.
Was she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. We can do this first. That lamp's cool, PC. You're wrong.
Let me tell you about the lamp. So I'm going for like a mid-century modern type look. So a lot of chrome and like kind of weird eclectic stuff. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $50 and I wasn't sure if I liked it. So thank you, but it's going to stay.
Yeah, I'm eating. I was chomping. I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm also hungry.
I gotta get it in when you can.
Yogurt and granola before this, but I need a proper meal for sure.
Before we get started, we gotta address some of the updates from this week of things happening.
What do we got?
First of all, Willie's apology tour. Who's been watching this? I feel like it's been pretty epic. I think it's hilarious. Definitely a different side of him.
I like the mini pods that he's doing in general. Aside, I also love the apology tour. I've only seen the one about Taylor. I guess there's more. I'm like very bad at just like looking at stuff and not actually listening on Instagram, but his new stuff is really good. I like it. It's like straight to the point, and I feel like it's really meaningful and also kind of like poking fun. You know, we like a little friendly banter, so I think it's great. I loved the comment section.
Both of you drink water. We do with RF subs in it. Thank you.
I'm slacking. I know no one's surprised, but I'm definitely slacking on that.
I've been doing good. I'm drinking a Diet Coke right now because that is the superior drink. Any other crazy updates? I just want to touch on that because I was dying. I thought it was so funny. Jeremy said, do I have to be nice tonight? I have a feeling when we get into it, nobody's going to be nice specifically to me, but we'll see.
I mean, there's a way to communicate, right? That like, even if we don't agree with one another, like we don't have to be mean.
That's a crazy concept.
So I would prefer everybody to be nice, but like we can have a discussion. I'm open for that.
My dog is being obnoxious. I'm sorry.
One quick thing that I did see outside of the Open, Gabby confirmed Mayhem.
Dude, I kind of want to go watch.
I think I'm pumped to see her back. I mean, I know we've spent some time with her. I wasn't sure when I saw that the invites had gone out and who they went to. I was like, oh, if everybody accepts, which I'm sure will not happen, this is going to be insane. Yeah. But I was shocked to see her name that she confirmed. That's amazing.
I know. I'm stoked. People already making assumptions about my takes. Okay. You know.
Mikey, what is that? Oh, pool boy.
Are we diving in?
Might as well.
So we were go ahead.
Well, we were going to do this episode like kind of when we first started and we went on like our hot or not rampage. And I think I had texted Maysa one night and I was like, we should talk about the Open if it's hot or not. Because I think at the time there was a lot of discussion about the Open. I don't know why, because it wasn't really during season. But then we were like, let's table it and bring this back up when the Open is more prevalent and kind of when there's more talk about it. So decided no better day than today because the signups or the registration for the Open started this week. So we're going to talk about if we think if the CrossFit Open is hot or not. Does anybody have any guesses?
I mean, people are always guessing.
I feel like, I don't know. Some people might be surprised. Maybe.
I will say a few things before we get into this. I actually did write some notes because I have a lot of thoughts of some tough topics we may get into in this conversation. Because we talked about this. It's hard to have this conversation without diving into the bigger picture of a lot of the bigger picture with CrossFit. And I think that's going to come into play when we talk about things. And I obviously have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this, and I wanted to be able to articulate them. So if I'm referring down, I took some notes so we can kind of go through the things I know that I want to touch on. But I wanted to start by saying, because everyone's like, oh my God, Maysa hates the Open. That's not how I feel. I have very conflicting feelings. And I did a lot of research before this episode to see both sides of how I feel, and we'll get into that. But I don't want to pretend that I have it all figured out and that I know exactly how I feel. I'm going to try and explain where my head's at the best that I can.
Do you want to tell the people if you think the Open is hot or not, or do you want me to go first?
I can start. I mean, I'm saying not, but it's nuanced. Will they wait for the nuance? I don't know. I think it's important to know, I have personal reasons for why I feel this way. This is 100% how Maysa feels, not how I'm telling other people what I'm doing in my gym. This is just me personally about if I am signing up for the Open. Why so many feelings? Jeremy asked. Buckle up. Do you want to start with yours and then we'll get into it?
I think the Open is hot, which may seem confusing to some because I have only signed up technically twice in my, 12 years. It has, and I've said this before, it has nothing to do with boycotting CrossFit. I have said since 2013, I don't want to pay my, I don't want to pay $20 or however much it is now to know that I suck at CrossFit. And I understand that there's a lot of people in the space and that it's much bigger than just knowing that I suck at CrossFit, right? I totally get that, but I have stood by that for the last 13 years now. That has not changed. I signed up, I think in 2018, and it was before they had RX, I think. And so I had to scale, and I was like, I'm not going to do the rest of the workouts. And then I signed up in 2024 because I was the fittest I've ever been. And I really just wanted to see where my fitness level lied. Is that the right word? I don't know. Yep. That's the only reason why that's the only reason why I actually signed up, followed through with it. I did quarterfinals, the whole thing. But up until that point, I really didn't care if I was 5,112th place in the world. It just didn't mean much to me.
Yeah.
I think it's hot because I love what it does for the community. Maybe not the community that everybody else is talking about. I don't think it's hot for the sport. That's not really what I'm worried about. I think it's hot for the affiliates, whether or not you sign up. I think it's the actual event and the people participating and getting bought in every single week, whether that means you pay your money to CrossFit Leaderboard or not. I think that helps the CrossFit community just by showing up. The thing I don't like is you don't give a shit about CrossFit if you don't pay your money and sign up for the Open, even if you participate, even if you pay a membership, even if you make sure that your affiliate is successful. It's everybody says that the Open is the only thing that matters when there's a million other things that can also help CrossFit outside of that.
So a few things. I agree about what it does for the community. I think, again, people are going to take I said it's not. So I hate everything about it. I love what it does for the community. I would probably participate in some local gyms, CrossFit Opens. I own a gym. If there are people in my gym that want to do the Open, I will be judging them, helping them, setting it up. I do love it on a community level. There's two parts. I'm going to pull this comment. T-Bird said, Why does it even need to be hot or not? Can't you just do it if you want to and not if you don't want to? So I had a lot of conversations about this today and yesterday with some people in the space and in media, because this is true, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just fitness, right? It's just exercise. Do it if you want to. And as like face value, I do agree with you. Like if someone wants to do it, great. If they don't want to do it, great. Like I'm not telling them what they should and shouldn't do. But then we were talking about why it's a little bit deeper than that. I think for me, this is not about the open. I think this is more about the bigger picture of CrossFit. Like it is emotional. It is more than fitness. Like CrossFit and functional fitness in the gym is where I have all my friendships. It's where my community is. It's where I'm having conversations about my views. It's where I'm spending most of my time and expressing most of my values. And so that's where I'm like, it isn't just fitness, right? It isn't, it does speak to something bigger. And that's why we're kind of having this conversation of course we can say, do it if you want, don't move on. But I think there is a bigger conversation to be had here. The other thing I was going to say is I'm kind of the opposite of you in that I signed up for the open every single year for 7 to 9 years. I can't remember until 2024 or 2025 after Lazarus died.
2024, yeah.
Yes. And I didn't do it that year because I've stated on here before, I guess you can say it's boycotting. I didn't agree with where CrossFit was for moral reasons. I didn't want to sign up until further notice. And now in doing this podcast, I was trying to decipher, like, has there been enough things that have changed? Is there enough that has made me change my mind? And a lot has changed my mind, and we're going to get into that. But that's where I was at. And I did it because I was the person who loved to see where I ranked. I wanted to get better. I thought it was cool to repeat and get better. I've never like really cared. Like I don't feel bad about not being that good. I just am like, oh, I just want to be better than last year. I think this is fun. I love throwing down. Like I think it's so cool to test your limits. And so I'm someone who literally did the open every single year I did CrossFit until that happened. And now we're here.
I think the last gym that I belonged to, which is where I signed up, was pretty really competitive, and like I was advocating for everybody to sign up. Like we had 190 some signups. Like CrossFit HQ sent like photographers and videographers to our gym for one of our like Friday night lights. Like, and I really enjoyed that. I think it was great. Like I was trying to talk people into signing up because that's kind of the culture that gym had. Like we had 40 some people sign up for a half marathon so we could do that together. Like that was just the vibe. I've also belonged to other gyms, and like the gym that I'm currently at now, not really the vibe, but I would like to do it to like get our community a little bit more involved and a little bit bought in. But that to me, that means showing up on a Friday night, doing the workout. It doesn't necessarily mean paying money.
Yep.
And getting your name on the leaderboard. It's like getting them more invested however we can. But I don't like, you don't have to pay the money to get the experience and like to get the community aspect out of it. Most of them don't even understand. Like outside of the leaderboard, like that's where it stops to them. Like I'm going to pay $20 to get my name on the leaderboard. I see where I rank, and like, that's it, which maybe that's the point, but like, what everybody else is saying is it goes much further than that. But I feel like the majority of just like regular CrossFit members don't understand what goes past that.
No, I agree. I mean, I own a gym, and I will say again, I'm not a CrossFit gym, but functional fitness, we do group class. I'm a new gym. So most people who are in my gym are new to fitness, a lot of them. And like most of them don't know about any of this. Like they have no idea.
Yep.
The number of people who have been like, what's on my page? Like the open, what is that? And I'm and I explained it to them without any, like I've started a bunch of comments. Let me pull this up. This one, Kenneth said, I think it's only boycotting if you're encouraging others not to do it or bashing people for doing it. I don't care if you do it. I think if you do it, I'm not saying you're a bad person for doing it or you shouldn't. These, again, my personal views. And when people in my gym ask me about the open, I tell them about it, how I would have told them about it when I was doing it, what it is, what it stands for, the community. And there's no like sway to not do it. I think this is the next thing that we can kind of get into. So Pool Boy said, is there anything CrossFit could have done to make you not boycott because of Lazar's death? Was there even a situation where CrossFit does the right thing? So prior to Lazar dying, I had issues with CrossFit and PR, and I think a lot of us did. Let's not pretend like there was no issues prior to that. There was, and I ready to get crucified. I think there was a lot of PR issues, racism issues, sexism issues, a lot of things that I didn't agree with. And like, I think there was a large group of people that felt that way. And we were kind of always hoping CrossFit would get it together. Or if it wasn't about those political or woke or whatever issues you want to call them, it was about their organization, their marketing, their layout of the season. There was always issues. And I honestly feel like it wasn't just his death. That was kind of the final straw, a very big one. And then it was the fallout after that. Since then, I do want to say that I sat here this week when we decided to do this, and I was like, I don't want to be like, they've done nothing and sound uneducated and like there's nothing. They've done a lot. And I will acknowledge that they have released way more safety measures. They have released a more coherent season earlier than they ever have. I believe their media and marketing is 10 times better in the last 3 months than it's been in years. I think they're getting back to some of the important stuff. We'll get into it, but Border Patrol is no longer a sponsor, which is a huge thing we'll get into. I don't think it's like they've done nothing. So I don't want to say like there is a lot of things that have gone right. There's some personal reasons we will get into as to why I still feel like not, but I'm not pretending that they've done nothing. Does that make sense?
Do you think so? To be transparent, Maysa and I had about a half-hour conversation on the phone that like just kind of like spiraled into what we were going to talk about tonight. And like she did say, like, I sat down and thought, am I just mad for no reason? You know, like you were like, I want to be like level-headed and like think through all of this. And I think that's important. But I also like playing devil's advocate, like I always do. I feel like we're just so close to this organization because it is so small. Like you hear everything. There's leaks from HQ. So we all kind of know like a little bit of what's happening. But if you think about other organizations, and I always use Target because I worked for Target, I have no idea what happens at Target HQ. You know, like I don't know like that there's information leaks. I don't like if their marketing's bad, like I'm not going to not shop there. And that's, I think, where you and I kind of differ. And you had like given some other examples when we were on the phone. Like to me, it's more of like, it's a convenience thing. Like I have to put forth a lot more energy to like stay away from this thing, to stay away from CrossFit, to stay away from Target if I don't agree with whatever it is. You know, like it's too much energy for me to spend because it is such a big part of my life that what is going on at HQ or like CrossFit as a whole, it's not to say that I don't disagree with some of the things that they're doing, but like it's so ingrained in my life. It'd be really hard. It would change my life if I had to stay away from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. And that's where I think me and you are, I think we're not going to agree on everything, but like, I totally see where you're coming from. I'm not like F CrossFit, F the Open. They've done nothing. Like it's not that extreme, but I guess we're going to dive into some politics because it's already popping up. And so there's two big things for me that, again, I'm going to reiterate a million times. This is my personal feelings as Maysa, not what I'm like forcing anyone to believe. PC said this and it's already getting, some comments, but CrossFit making a post in support of Israel basically turned their back on a whole race and a culture of people. Again, people are like, what's racist? What's sexist? What's this? We'll go into a lot of different things because people want examples. Bear with me. I'm not going to talk in circles. We're going to go through things. First of all, I am Arab. I grew up in the Middle East. My dad is fully Arab. I have strong opinions and skin in the game on some of these political issues. CrossFit is not the only company that I have a hard time giving money to because of their support of Israel And because of their stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict, and this is a huge one for me, and I've talked to a few people in the media space, and they're like, we're white men. How do we get to talk about this? Okay, I'm Arab. I grew up in the Middle East, and I have skin in the game, and I can say I'm happy to have a conversation, probably not on this platform, maybe a one-on-one conversation about my thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict. It is very hard for me to support a company that outright supports Israel given the state of the world. And I think that you don't have to agree with that, but you can understand the thought process behind that. We can have different views on that. That is a very real, very valid reason that I don't want to put my money there. And Jeremy, fact check yourself. I'll leave it at that. I think when they want me to maybe get into okay, there's more comments. Do you have anything to say while I
No,
read these?
you do your thing. You can finish.
Oh gosh. uh,
I will say
sorry.
and I am like very honest about this. I am very ignorant when it comes to politics and that kind of stuff. And I think somebody said, I don't know, before earlier in the chat, like, try not to give my opinion because I don't really think it's fair for me to do so because I honestly don't know a lot. Ignorance on my end for sure. And that's sometimes, Maysa does feel very strongly about what she believes. And sometimes I am that like devil's advocate. So we'll have conversations on the phone. I'll be like, yeah, but what about, like, I see you feel this way, but there's also millions of people that feel the opposite of you, So like it does get to be like a sticky situation. And
I
sometimes,
think I tried to see both sides though.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask, probably this isn't gonna be followed, but like Pool Boy pulling up this comment where you're just laughing and saying, what the fuck, and all of this. Like, I'm telling you where I'm coming from. If you want to chat about it, that's fine. I'm not out here accusing anyone of anything. If a company supports a political issue that I don't support, it's okay for me to not want to put my money there. That's the reality. And I think we all have the right to do that. Like, you don't have to agree with the political issue, but you can understand the thought process behind. If they support something that I don't support, I'm not about to unhinge. I'm gonna try really hard not to unhinge. Okay, so this is a great question. I will answer this. My question is, if you don't want to give your money to CrossFit due to your reasons, why do you support or go watch semis like Mayhem? Would that be going against what you just said? So I have a lot of conflict. I didn't go to any CrossFit affiliated events last year. I don't believe I did that. The year before I went to Syndicate. I have thought about this a lot, and I continue to think about it. And I literally was saying to Cait, like, I want to go to Mayhem, but this week I was saying, like, if I go there, am I supporting something I'm against? And I don't have the answers. I don't have it all figured out. I love watching athletes compete. I think it's a difference of me contributing my money, but you're right. That is my support. And I don't know how to draw the line of something that I love and something that is doing things that I don't support. And it is conflicting. And I have not decided whether I will be doing media at CrossFit affiliated events yet. I think another point that we'll kind of get into is I was hoping there would be more information on the sale, on new management, on all this. We still don't have it. I'm hoping it comes. I'm waiting for that because that kind of matters to me a little bit and a bit. And I think we were all hoping to have that information by now, but we don't.
I don't think anybody knows though. And I think that's what, like, I don't think there is any information. I think we're in this black hole that we're just like waiting and waiting and waiting. That's what I think. Like, I don't think there is any information to divulge.
Jeremy, I'm welcoming pushback, but let's be respectful about it, especially on very tough topics. If you're laughing and saying things like, I can understand pushback. I don't think supporting Israel is I don't think supporting Israel is saying you're against extreme Muslims. Like, that take was inaccurate. That's not what supporting Israel is. I don't agree with that, if that's the pushback that I did address.
Dunn said the Sousa touched on no buyers in the mix now. I did see that there was a video out there. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I think too, like that is something that's kind of looming, you know, how long does this sale, I don't know, like go on? Does it go on forever? Like, is anybody going to buy it? What happens if they don't? Like, does that mean that the whole entire season changes? There's a lot of what ifs happening with that and a lot of unknowns, which I think could help people who are still kind of sitting on the fence, maybe somebody like you, to either nudge you one way or the other. But
Mhm.
it is kind of just like, well, it can go really one way and it can go really the opposite way. And I think once a sale goes through, like I think that might help you
Yeah,
determine, you know, like what side you're really on.
I think that's definitely a contributing factor, and I think I have literally like 6 points we haven't gone to about all the things I went into, and that was one of them, and I think, is there gonna be a change in leadership? What's happening with Dave Castro? That is issues that a lot of people, I think, want answers to.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Like, do you think that there's a world, let's say Dave Castro goes away,
Mhm.
like, is there a worse person that could replace him? Or do you think Dave is like,
There's always worse. I
okay,
mean, I think
I feel the same.
always. And that's why it's not, again, none of my opinions are like, get rid of Dave Castro and everything's fine.
Yeah.
The Open sucks. It's all, there's more to it. And I think I'm trying really hard to look at a lot of aspects, because there's not like one thing CrossFit's going to do or not do that's going to make it go either way. One of my current issues, that is no longer an issue, I guess, was their affiliation with Border Patrol.
Mhm.
I think given the state of what's going on, the chief of ICE, or the head of ICE was the chief of Border Patrol, all this. As of recently, Border Patrol is not on their partners. I think Josh Alchama posted that yesterday, and I was like, do we know what happened? We don't know what happened. Um, I think that was a hard, there's a lot of overlap between the director of ICE, between Border Patrol, what's going on right now. Personally, I don't think that should be affiliated with sport. And so I would love to know what happened. I don't think we'll ever know like why they're not partners, but I can check that off a list of like, that is a good thing that that is not a partner. Um,
And I think, and we were talking this again briefly on the phone. I don't know, like, I, again, know nothing behind the scenes, right? But I no longer see that it's probably like a like mutually beneficial partnership. Like CrossFit was probably getting more out of border control than vice versa, I would just guess.
mhm.
Just, and I say that only really because we have not had any sponsors stick around for very long, because it seems like that is the case, that they're not getting like what they want out of it financially. um I would assume that Border Patrol decided to part ways. That is literally just an assumption, and I have,
Yeah,
that's what
I
would
mean,
make
and
sense
the 3
logically.
people I've talked to about this also assume the same thing. Like, that would be the logical guess, which is, I mean, then maybe it is still an issue for me. I don't know. I wanna pin this, giving it real said, "I think it's crazy that guys support Will and think Dave is the devil." First of all, this is my opinion, not Kate's. Kate likes Dave Castro. Second, I've never said Dave is the devil. That is not what I said. I will sit here and admit Dave has done a lot of good things for CrossFit. This isn't, again, I've never said Dave is the devil. I believe, given the circumstances, he should have been asked to step down. You don't have to agree with that. That does not mean I hate every decision he's ever made. I don't think he is the devil. I'm sure he went through horrifying aftermath of what happened. Like, I believe he should no longer be the director of the CrossFit Games. That is my opinion. I don't think it's a figure of speech. We're getting into all of the
Oh, here we go. And
nuances with
that
that.
is like, we already had an episode about this a long time ago when we first started, but that is where you and I like differ. Like,
Yeah.
I am very much like, I want to know the facts until I really can make a decision, and saying like somebody should lose their job over something that we have no idea what actually happened. Like, there's a lot of hearsay, and maybe some people do know, but like, to me, I'm like, why step down from a position? Maybe he is innocent. I don't know. And that's why, like, if he is not, whoa, that was
I just did that twice with my string too, and I was like, "Oh, That's gonna be clipped somewhere.
Like, if it came out that, like, he's responsible, hold him accountable, right? But, like, until that happens, I'm a fence rider. Like, I still support him's a wild word, but, like, I have no issue with him. I like the games. I like what he does. I think he's fun. He's a personality. I think it was boring when he wasn't there. Like, I'm a Dave fan, but I also, like, that can change, you know? I'm
Mhm.
kind of both ways.
Someone asked me, I can't find the comment, but like, what if Jewish people bought CrossFit?
Mhm.
There are Jewish people that do not support what Israel is doing in Palestine. I do not hate an entire race. I do not hate all Jewish people. It is a current political issue, and I take a stance on it. So let's just clarify that. Um, the next point, and we're kind of gonna dive into some maybe personal things. The CAAC, why am I getting the acronym wrong? The athlete council that they came up with. Um, I thought it was a good idea in theory. One of my big issues with it was Taylor Self being on it. I think he is a bad representation. I don't agree with everything he says, like a lot of what he says. Just because he's great at programming does not mitigate the very inappropriate racist things he has said directly about me. And I think that was hard. So I went and looked at who's on the athlete council. And I went and looked up every single one of them, the people that I don't know. I'll start with the good. There was quite a few affiliate owners. I looked at their gyms, I looked at their Instagrams, and I loved it. Great, seemingly great in the community, supporting really good things, really good media. And I was like, okay, cool. I like that Taylor's not on there anymore. I think there's some good people on there. I struggle. Um, are we getting into? Oh, okay. I'm sure a lot of you know Savon, Taylor, all of them went on a podcast prior to SoCal and said some very not okay things about me being Arab, being a terrorist, how I funded my business to an extreme extent. Taylor did apologize to me. I will give him credit for that. He has said much worse things after. Um, what Savon said to me after on a phone call is wildly unacceptable. Their affiliation with CrossFit, and that's where it's hard because they're not directly CrossFit media. They are friends with Dave. They are broadcasting events. They are this CrossFit adjacent group that I feel like represents a lot of what people know and think of when you think of CrossFit. And I struggle with, should I not support CrossFit because of them and their views? I will say Dents reposted, who is under the Savon umbrella, a post that said, um, and I quote, I've never come close to being shot in the face because I'm not a retard. And that was reposted by a lot of people, including Colton, who's on the council. These things are things that I strongly disagree with, that I'm not, I care. Like people are like, who cares? I care. I care about, this is where I spend all my time, all my money. I own a gym. I have I'm Arab. Like these things affect me directly. I fear about these things on a regular basis. And if you don't care, it's because you probably have never been worried about this happening to you. And so I think that is contributes to where I stand and why it's difficult for me to jump back in.
Uh, we were kind of talking about this earlier about the semifinals. You know, if Sevon and his crew are going to broadcast semifinals, like, is CrossFit encouraging like their behavior?
Or
And that's
endorsing it, I guess would be what it is. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not really though, right? Like, because it's a
Mhm.
CrossFit affiliated event, but like the organizers get to do all of the stuff. So is CrossFit really endorsing them? I feel like not, but also, and we said this too, like there's millions of people that feel the way that you do, and there's millions of people that feel the way that they do. And there's
Mhm.
somebody said it, like people like them. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that
100%.
like those people. And I honestly do think that, and we do not feel the same. Like I feel like they probably are decent nice human beings off the internet. But I know that you don't probably feel the same way. So I don't
I
know.
mean,
That's where
what
it's
was oh wow. Should we pen this? Thanks, Taylor.
I was
Appreciate it.
gonna say I am like surprised he has not popped up because anytime we say his name, he magically appears in the chat. So
I mean, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt for apologizing to me. I respected that. I thought it like there was some understanding there. I think asking if I was happy Charlie Kirk was shot, saying that I literally funded my small business, which is a gym, that is what we all do, through Islamic terrorism, and then saying things that are normally associated with suicide bombers is not acceptable. And if that doesn't draw a line of this isn't reaching into racist territory, like, okay, we're never going to agree. And again, someone saying he wasn't being serious, I think it doesn't matter. There's things you don't say, and it's things that are not funny. And I think I will say, Taylor
um
apologized. Savon doubled down and said worse things to me off the internet. So
I do want to clarify, like I see this comment. You said you didn't care where your money came from, and then CrossFat. And I do remember, I think
mhm,
CrossFat was actual the original commenter on the live that they were on, saying that Maysa said that she didn't care where a business's money comes from. We were talking about WFP in that moment because everybody was acting like they were money laundering or something, or like where are they going to get all of these millions of dollars to fund this? And we're like, why does it matter to everybody where they're getting their money from, whether it's investors or whatever? Like that was wildly misinterpreted. She was
yeah,
not talking
again,
about her business.
I said I don't care where WFP gets their money from,
Yeah.
like what their funding situation is. I know where I get my money from the gym that I work in that's funded by a small business loan and investments and not Islamic terrorism. But if this makes you yawn and you think it's funny, cool. Like we live on different planets. I don't
Also, like if it were to come out that WFP got their money from like illegal practices or whatever it is, like I can assure you, Mason and I would probably, I'll speak for myself, like I'd be like, that's fucked up.
I no
like,
longer support
like,
them. Like
correct. Like, use your brains, you guys. Like, that's crazy. But that, and I think CrossFat was the original commenter on like Sevon's live or whatever happened that like spiraled that. That was misinterpreted. She was not talking about her own business. So, um,
yeah,
sorry to like burst your bubble, but
you just asked where an entire city got their money. Like I'm supposed to not live somewhere. Oh my God, Taylor.
I can't even keep up. There was like 40 comments that just came in just now.
God.
Anyway,
Okay.
would you want
Again,
to say anything else?
um, oh, I'm breathing. I'm trying not to lose my shit. It's fine. I'm gonna not be unhinged because Grant so badly wants me to be unhinged. I'm gonna hold it together a little bit. I think I'm trying to think what I want to
You
say.
said let's both lose it.
Okay. In when we'll dive in a little deeper. Keep this going, please. Okay. So when that video came out from Savannah Taylor's podcast, which
Oh,
mind you, um, uh, Taylor did call me and stutter an apology to me and say he had never thought about it. So for all this big talk, he said he had never thought about it that way. We had a very civil conversation, but if he wants to say all these things, it's fine. He can pretend he didn't do that. I did have a phone conversation with Savannah, in which she told me I needed to take accountability for giving words meaning because words had no meaning unless I gave them meaning. And we went back and forth. It's slander to say how I got my money, but I asked him, this was the week Charlie Kirk died. They said they should ask me if I was happy about it. They said all of these terrible things. I said, if somebody, when we went to SoCal, no, Grant, Taylor does not have a heart clearly because did you see what he just said? That apology clearly meant nothing. But I said on the phone to Savon, if somebody shot me or jumped me because they believed I was a terrorist from something you said, would you wish you hadn't said it? And he said, no, I would just be sad that there's people like that in the world. And to me, that is someone who represents CrossFit, who broadcasts at semifinals, who is very good friends with the director of CrossFit. These are my personal reasons. You asked me to give examples of where I have felt there has been racism. That's directly towards me. And that is a large reason why it's hard for me to participate in CrossFit. And again, I understand that this is a small group of people, then they are not like employed by CrossFit. I am finding a hard time drawing the line of what is CrossFit and what is not. And that's why we're having these conversations. It's why I literally talked to Cait about like, should I go to Mayhem? Should I not? Is that them? It's hard. I think anyone who has been said something like, I don't care, I wouldn't feel bad that I said something that got you shot, might make you second guess if you want to support those things. And suddenly everyone's quiet in the comments. Thank you.
This comment, this is why CrossFit will never be as good or surpass the numbers of 2018, 2019. I'm not really sure what they're referring to, but I do think it's important to like point out the fact that these conversations are even being had to each other. Like, again, we have the same, like, we all want this thing to succeed, right? And why are we even talking about this stuff? Like, we're talking about fitness. Why are politics? Why are we name calling? Like, why is any of this conversation happening? It's wild to me. Like, I truly don't understand. Like, I go to my job when I worked for Target, I go to my job. We're not talking about any of this. You don't get to call each other names. You don't get to like do all this wild shit that everybody's doing. So like why we are better than this. And it blows my mind that we think that this is appropriate. Like, yes, this is our pastime. For some of us, this is a job. For some of us, this is a hobby. But like, we are all better than what is currently happening in this space. This is crazy.
I got to address some of these things. I couldn't agree more. Like, off of what you said, Den said, so he can't speak his mind without fear of something that may or may not happen. That's wild. If you do not understand that calling me a terrorist and saying I funded my business through terrorism is not speaking your mind and is not appropriate to, this was in the context of who was going to be in media at SoCal. We made a whole podcast about SoCal and said nothing of name calling. We just talked about what we were going to do. This is a job, right? Like that. If you think speaking your mind is saying I funded my business through terrorism, cool. We're never going to agree. That's crazy. I think also, Taylor, I'm not pretending I didn't apologize. Why would I want you to feel unsafe? That's a bunch of other things. A racial joke versus racism is different, and a racist-based joke versus racism, LOL. You defined from Google a funding method that terrorists do and then said that's how I funded my gym. If that is funny to you, it must be a joke. Who cares what anyone else thinks if it's funny to you? Like, can anyone understand the difference? I feel like it's pretty, and I'm not out here saying anything about your political views or this or that until like we don't get on our podcast typically and be like, wow, this you are asking me directly why I can't support this. And I'm saying my reasons. I'm not out here telling anyone what to do or what not to do. Or like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do think what was I just going to say? I got very distracted. Oh, talking about like jokes. There are, again, plain devil's advocate. There are a lot of people who would think what Taylor said was funny. A lot of people who would not think it was funny, you know, and it's just, that's kind of, that is where your line was drawn, understandably so. Like, I don't think that those are things that we should be talking about on a fitness platform. Like, it has nothing to do with fitness, but that is kind of like what their platform talks about, that kind of stuff. But it's crazy to me that in a fitness space that we're even having to have this conversation.
And it's crazy that I'm having to explain why this isn't a joke. Like, I mean, Dent is saying, like, I still don't see how these are all reasons not to support the Open or the game season. I've gone through so many different things. Like, this is not the only reason. I personally am saying and I think many people that I've spoken to associate a lot of this media as a representation of CrossFit. I personally find it difficult to separate those things. I'm trying to. I don't want what they say to be what in my mind is CrossFit media. It's why we're in this space, right? Like, I want there to be more voices. I want the stories to be positive. I think so many good things come from CrossFit, but right now they are the loudest people in the room. And it has directly affected me and made me feel unsafe going to competitions. And you can't say, "Oh, I don't want to make you feel unsafe," but like, haha, it's a joke, get over it. And if you feel that way again, like Tega said it earlier, if you have to question those things, it's because you've never been in a position where you've had to feel unsafe. And like, I'm so glad for you. But maybe listen to someone who's been in that position and just be able to fathom that there's another reality for them.
And like, again, transparency, this is something that you and I kind of struggled with when the whole SoCal thing happened, because I have not experienced that in my life, and I'm like, you should just feel safe. Like, you should feel safe. We're going to be like with other CrossFitters in the CrossFit space, like in general is really cool people. And I've like, that is kind of where we differed. So Maysa and I do have, like, we feel the same about the majority of things and like who we usually think are like good hearted and kind people, but we do feel not differently necessarily, but stronger feelings than one another about some things. And doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just, we have different life experiences.
Yeah. And I have more than one experience that has led to that situation that you probably, knowing me well, knows some.
Somebody said, wow, viewers jumped.
I've like, do I need to address Taylor blowing it up? If you don't
No,
understand the difference between the things you said and what I said, that's fine. We can have this. I'm happy to have a one-on-one conversation with you. You literally have my phone number. I will have a conversation with you. We can air out our feelings. But being sarcastic and blowing this up and saying words that I don't agree with, like, I don't want to stoop. I don't want to do it. I feel like I've said enough about that.
no. So what I was gonna say is, I think Grant's somewhere up there. There's too many to say, but are we gonna sign up for the Open this year? Given that, are you gonna sign up?
Currently, no, I'm not signing up.
What, like, is there anything that could, like, from now until the Open, which I don't know, February something, I think, like, is there anything that could change your mind? Like, what would have to happen? Or maybe there's no shot.
Sorry, I'm doing my best. I'm not even gonna. I think I will. This conversation, seeing the comments, just makes me go the other way and want to do it less. I think, um, I mean, they've just added Russia Federation back in. They haven't changed their stance on Israel. Dave Castro is still director. They do, there's a lot of things that I don't think there's enough time between now and the Open for it to change. I don't think it's like irreversible. Again, this isn't like I
Yeah.
would never do it again. I have always loved doing it. I don't think there's enough time now, but maybe there will be before the next Open,
You're like kind of like a Laura Horvath. Like, you're out for now, but like it's not off the table to come back to CrossFit eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
Um
Um,
I I
I do
don't
think oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I don't think I'm going to sign up. And again, it's like nothing deep about it. I don't think my gym's going to participate. We had talked about maybe trying to do it, but we do, because we are so close to, like, in South Florida, to Wadapalooza. One of our coaches qualified, and we were going to try to make it a thing, but with him gone and me potentially doing Wadapalooza, like, there's only 3 of us that work there as coaches, like the owner, myself, and another coach. So with 2 of us potentially gone, and then the Open falling on like the last week of, or Wadapalooza falling on the last week of the Open, it's just like not logistically, I don't think, feasible for us to do it, because we'll all probably be in Miami. Um I will still probably do the workouts. I have been like talking with a coach and I'm sure it will be programmed and I'll do them. I've always done them. Um, I don't know. Probably not, but it's not out of the question, but it's like not as deep. It's just like I don't care enough. Maybe I should care, but that's like how I am with pretty much everything. So,
Few quick things. Taylor said he hasn't said anything else about me. Just because it's not about me doesn't mean I don't stand for the same things. If you say bad things about other people that go against what I believe in, I still stand for them. 2, everyone's asking as a gym, will I program them? I follow Brute affiliate programming. If Brute puts them in, which I imagine they probably will, I will do that. I will program them. If there are people, I have 24/7 open gym. So a lot of my membership is open gym right now. I'm new, small membership. I will set it up. I will video. I will do what I need to do to help them get scores. I'm going to do the programming that I pay for. And if it's in there, I will coach it and I will tell people what it is and let them decide if they want to sign up or not.
like just thinking back on this conversation just now, like we just got so lost in this conversation about things again that we shouldn't even really be talking about. Like we didn't even talk about why the open like is so magical, and like it is so good, but like all this bullshit gets in the way of whether people want to do it or not because we just can't like be
Civil.
I'm all for people having their own opinion. Like you can think whatever you want. I don't have to agree with it. Do I think that maybe you're not a great person? Do I want to associate myself with you? Probably not, but I'm still going to be nice to you. I'm not going to bash you on the internet. But like the fact that that is getting in the way about talking about the things that matter, like the magic of the open, whether you sign up or not, like let's help CrossFit thrive because arguably it's not. And like, how can we get people more invested, whether maybe that's signing up for the open and paying the $25 or whatever it is now. Maybe it's just participating in the open at your local affiliate and then bringing more members into your local affiliate. So our affiliates survive and they thrive and they make money and people who own them can make more than like just like paycheck to paycheck living. Like that is, we just get so lost in this. And that's what's really sad is that we just spent 52 minutes talking about politics and when I'm just trying to get a little fitness in, that's crazy. We're like so missing the point. We are our own worst enemy. Like everybody says, well, we want it to survive. We want CrossFit to thrive and do all this, but like we are part of the problem. Or I feel like maybe more than a part of the problem. This show, get lost. Sorry,
I think I'm tapping out at what I have left to say.
I don't like, this is what's annoying. Like, don't want, literally, you're just giving us a view, but thank you. I appreciate it. But like, get lost. I don't care. People are losers.
I think saying I chose to let words hurt me. I'm not hurt by these words. I don't get hurt by opinions of people who I don't respect. And I said this to Savon, Taylor, Dylan, when all of this came out, it's not about my feelings being hurt. It's about safety and things that shouldn't be said and the doors it opens it for. And if you don't understand, again, words making you feel unsafe, I'm happy that you don't have to understand that. But this whole narrative that my feelings are so hurt and I'm so emotional. I think I've stayed, and I think you were there when all this relatively calm. I don't think it was like a hysterical feelings like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings by saying this. I think it was for me, a safety concern. So just clarifying that.
Somebody said, I think it was Kenneth. I can't. So we've decided the open is hot. I think it's hot. I don't change my stance. I think it's hot for different reasons outside the sport. But I think as a community, I think it's hot.
Okay, these are getting a little bit obnoxious. Can we tap out?
Yeah, we're good. Before we go, guys, Have to thank our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by RF Supplements, the NSF certified supplement brand trusted by athletes who demand clean, effective performance. From protein powders to peptides, RF Supplements has everything you need to perform at your best. No fillers, no shortcuts, just science-backed formulas built for real results. Check them out at rfsupplements.com and use your code RF-ITBO for 15% off your orders. RF Supplements, fuel your potential. What do you say? Like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Comment. Let us know your thoughts if you haven't already. Rue from RF, super cool dude. Honestly,
I'll be in San Diego next weekend for a little photo shoot for them. So maybe some content coming out for that. That's it. Thanks, guys. This was fun as always.